I wanted to talk about honeymoons and how they relate to my MGTOW Shaming Line series, as well as how it probably resonates with many of you out there. Framed is one of the two things that I want to talk about today. The idea that if you are out and about by yourself doing your own thing, you are either a loser or you are dangerous is reinforced by the fact that this is the subject of headline after headline. When we take a look at the Me Too movement, we can see that what it does is it causes people to become paralyzed. I was reading some random article about someone who was on a date, and in the article it said that the man begins the date by putting his arm over the woman's shoulder, and then he second guesses himself and puts his arm around the woman's waist. Then, after triple guessing that he just decided to link hands with her, he admittedly had this musical chairs dictated by the fear of being accused of something that you'd see in a new Me Too headline: fear of making unwanted advances that could result in legal repercussions. I took a screenshot of a text conversation that included me rejecting a woman who had expressed interest in me earlier that day. This was later followed by her apologizing for making the advance in the first place. This particular incident stands out to me because it was the first time I had ever done anything like this. Even though I was the one who was not being the social aggressor and aiming to make a move, you never know how that is going to be turned around, so I did the little that I could by taking a screenshot of the apology that was made, which at least provided me with some small amount of a defense. That I did not have any interest or intentions of moving forward frequently because women do not, and on the receiving end of being turned down very often they will view it as a personal offense against them. That I did not have any interest or intentions of moving forward frequently because women do not. And because of this, they plan to use it against you in some way, which means you need to be on the lookout for it, even though this is not the point of the discussion we are having today. It is more of an introduction to something that is a double standard in today's society, and it is connected to the widely held belief that a single man of a certain age is either likely to be a loser or he is dangerous. Therefore, once you reach your mid to late 20s, in particular, it begins to pick up, so a single man cannot be single by choice, according to this view, and any healthy functioning male is going to want to be viewed by another person as taking them out on dates, having them on their hip, and enjoying their successes together with them. That is the conventional view of what a man ought to want, and since he does not have a partner, it is assumed that he is failing in life. He is failing socially, he is failing on the dating market, and he will not succeed in life, which is what interests potential romantic partners the most: success, hypergami. He is failing in other areas of his life as well. Therefore, he is a loser. What other ways are there for him to end up single? He could be dangerous, which is frequently labeled alongside these other descriptors: creepy and odd. Slovenly, sexist, a womanizer, a child in their immaturity. In order to help illustrate this point a little bit better, let's go ahead and list some headlines that appeared on the first page of a Google search that I performed. I searched "single men are scary," and we got "who's afraid of single people, young single Americans are tired, confused, and scared about dating." Dating in this day and age can be quite nerve-wracking. Why are so many men afraid to date single mothers? Here are 10 signs that you might be more afraid of dating than you are of being single for the rest of your life. In this day and age of blogging, a new study confirms what should be obvious: any headline can exist. But I want to touch on my brief experiences and view of this as a MGTOW man, as a single man, or at least the man that is pursuing something and admittedly looking, that is the man that is going to be protected and viewed as normal, viewed as healthy looking in the workplace. This is the man that is going to look, that is going to be protected and protected in the workplace. I just finished reading a short excerpt from a blog post with the heading "Why Do Married Men Make More Money?" In 1979, it was stated in this manner. One of the researchers at the University of Michigan, Martha Hill, came across an interesting observation regarding married men. According to Hill's numbers, marriage led to roughly 25 boosts in pay, which results in married people making significantly more money than their peers who have never been married. What's more, the effect remained even after Hill controlled for the majority of the relevant variables, including work experience and training, in the decades that have passed. The correlation has been repeatedly confirmed, with dozens of studies showing that married men earn between 10 and 50 to between 10 and 50 more than their unmarried peers. Due to the inherent unfairness of the world, married women's earnings are approximately 10 percentage points lower than those of unmarried women. This is known as the marriage penalty. What's more, these differences in income between men don't appear to depend on any of the obvious demographic differences, such as age, education, race, or IQ scores. For some strange reason, Businesses seem to find married men more valuable, and therefore their human capital is worth more capital. It is very obvious what is going on here, and I've always seen this, and I'll tie this in a little bit, and you can see this right here, even hiring managers, even people that are hiring. This is something that has always been the case for me. No matter what level job you have, if they learn that you have a wife or a girlfriend, or if they learn that you are pursuing a certain life path, or if they learn that you are pursuing that life path, they are going to see that another person considers you to be normal enough for them to marry you or date you. This is true regardless of the job you have. They believe that you possess desirable qualities that would allow you to be with another person, despite the fact that we frequently observe two individuals who are both unemployed dating each other. This does not indicate anything, but it is almost assumed as if there has already been a life reference check that has been had if another person is dating that person that they are about to hire. The other obvious thing is here. When comparing men who are single to men who are married, the man who is single does not have the same gun pointed at his head. However, there is not a completely different incentive for men in the workforce to work than there is for men when you compare men who are single to men who are married. During war, we see men accomplish incredible feats. This is because they have that gun pointed at their head all the time, and because they want to survive. These are the reasons why. They are going to have to make more money. They are not going to jump around and take other jobs. Instead, they are going to stay at one location, likely recruit a crew rapport, and likely get raises. They are going to have to make more money. They are not going to take other jobs. These occurrences are unavoidable. Because they are aware of the necessity of having them, hiring managers will see a single male applicant and recognize his situation as appropriate. They don't want to go through this hiring process again because it's very simple, and then I'm going to expand on this a little bit further and more at a micro level now. He is likely to be more transient than they had anticipated. So I go to the gym today and I'm working out, and I see a guy there who is a regular. I don't know him, but it seems like he takes it seriously, which is something that I respect. However, the shirt that he was wearing got me thinking. The shirt that he was wearing was probably from a fundraiser for breast cancer, and it said barbells for boobies. I thought that simply because he was wearing that shirt, he was fit, and that he would likely be viewed as a respectful and respectable guy that women might want to talk to. Therefore, according to physique standards, he will not be considered a loser and solely on the basis of his shirt. Women will view him as someone who is sympathetic to their predicament. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with breast cancer research, that's a whole other topic, but I have seen this used as a pickup strategy or a mark in favor of men. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with breast cancer research. I thought to myself, that guy is going to be desired, and if he wasn't in shape and a viable option in the sexual marketplace, he would probably be seen as a creep if he wasn't a viable option in the sexual marketplace. I was thinking this to myself. They recently went on a 2.2-mile trail that goes along some petroglyphs, and they came across an old couple on the trail every time. I don't understand why people feel the need to always be around someone else in their imaginations. When I approached this couple, the woman glared at me, and the man's voice trembled in a quiet high while he continued to look fearful. Normally, I would go to places like this with another person, where people walking in the opposite direction on the trail would cheerfully greet us. However, when I got closer to them, they looked terrified of me. When I used to only go hiking with someone, I was never seen as a threat on trails. However, whenever I walk on trails alone, people react in a manner that is very cold, fearful, and closed off to me. This happens every time. If one of them got bitten by a rattlesnake, which was fairly common in that area, I would not be surprised because I thought that hiking alone meant independence from the plantation and independent thinking, and people find that threatening because it challenges their version of how things should be. However, if one of them got hit by a car, I would not be surprised. Because I am a healthy male who does not have the dad bod that some men my age have developed as a result of giving up on life, I would be able to carry or at the very least drag them to their vehicle and drive them to the hospital or the ranger station further down the road. This would make me less frightening to people. I would be their savior in that predicament out in the desert, which is such a ridiculous notion. What strong, independent men do and are capable of doing for those who are less physically fit is to take it for granted every second of every minute of every hour of every day until something needs to be done, but it's very true, and it's what I'm illustrating right here. After that, there is unending gratitude for us for a few minutes, and then they go back to mistrusting and disdaining us. It is a male disposability thing. Once again, the single man that is healthy when he is needed is going to be viewed as a positive thing, and he is going to be in a positive state when that time comes, but it is a very transient thing. It is a positive thing when that time comes, but it is a very transient thing. Because it is going to be assumed that is going to be his consistent role if he is in a marriage. It is viewed as though he is not being needed and is not helping enough. Why? The second one is about a guy who is playing pool by himself when he is approached by another girl who is nearby. She asks him how he is doing and who is winning, and he responds by saying, "I'm playing by myself." You're not going to get laid with that attitude, she realizes, which she never does, and she snipes at you, saying, "Don't say I snark back," which is then followed by more overt insults. As a result, you're either going to be seen as a loser, someone who is hurt, or someone who is dangerous. Again, going off of getting on that vacation for yourself and going to Hawaii, you can't be viewed as doing things independently, and to me, that indicates a whole world of fear. And this topic is not to whine about this in any way, shape, or form, because frankly I don't give a damn how the perception of the single guy is, but I'm putting this out there because I think a lot of you guys can relate to this. Because the protected will almost certainly view him as someone who suffers from a mental disorder, and because you will almost certainly be placed on the same level as this person, you cannot be reasonable and be single at the same time, right?